Remember when Gucci Mane said this? Fujiano just walked out of prison after 5 long years, and the welcome home moment people expected? It never happened. No Gucci Mane waiting at the gates, no Rolls Royce parked outside, no flashy rollout, no big label announcement, nothing. The only sign that he was even home came from a producer's Instagram story with the caption, "No more free foo." And that was it. That was the entire celebration for an artist Gucci once claimed was one of the only 2 people worth keeping on 1017. Now that Foo is officially free, blogs are already running wild with rumors that he's done rocking with Gucci. People close to the situation are saying Gucci allegedly didn't send him a single dollar while he was locked up, and fans are looking at this whole situation sideways. And this isn't just random gossip either. This is the bigger story of how 1017 slowly turned into one of the most chaotic labels in Atlanta rap. Gucci Mane built a major legacy.
Hey, what's up, y'all? Listen, I wanted to make this announcement on 1017 yesterday, but I just seen like my statement, my P&L with all my artists. You know, it's almost like a whole bunch of shake-up and it's a whole on the industry right now, but when I look at my P&L, and me being a businessman, I think that I'm gonna have to release almost all my artists, except for Pusha and Fujiano. This is a decision I didn't want to make. I thought about it, you know what I'm saying? I could keep all of them under the contract. But I said, hey, let's just make the unselfish decision and, let them take their talents elsewhere, so.
But lately, people have been questioning every move tied to that label. Now Fujiano coming home at this exact moment, that could shake things up in a huge way. Some fans are even bringing up old stories about Pusha allegedly pressuring Gucci to release contract paperwork during a heated situation. Whether all of that is true or not, one thing is clear. 1017 has had drama stacked on drama. To really understand why Fujiano's return feels so serious right now, we gotta rewind and look at what he actually meant to 1017 before everything started falling apart. Fujiano, born Kwame Khalil Brown, is from Augusta, Georgia. He's not from Atlanta, but his sound definitely carries that Atlanta influence, and that helped him stand out fast. No cap. His whole sound was built to shake rooms up. It was street music with club energy, catchy hooks, and records that could hit the trap spot and the club on the same Friday night. He had been grinding independently for years before Gucci ever noticed him, dropping tape after tape and building real momentum on his own. Then in 2020, everything changed. Gucci signed him to 1017 and helped land distribution through Atlantic Records, and suddenly it looked like Fujiano was next up for real. This wasn't some small cosign either. This looked like the start of something major. He had just dropped his debut album Gouda Baby through 1017 and Atlantic, and before that, he already had a long run of mixtapes plus appearances on 1017 compilation projects that helped build his name. He was only 26 or 27 years old and was just getting started. At that moment, Gucci's cosign meant everything. And let's be real, Gucci Mane doesn't sign just anybody. The man has a long history of spotting talent before the rest of the industry catches on. He's done that for years. But this is where everything started falling apart fast. In 2021, Fujiano's situation took a major turn when he was arrested in Memphis. He was charged with being a convicted felon in possession of a firearm and was later released on a $50,000 bond. Then things got even messier. Authorities said he allegedly removed his ankle monitor and stayed on the run for about 3 months before being caught. 3 months on the run is serious, and people started realizing he wasn't focused on music at that point. Instead of locking in on his career, his label deal, and everything he worked for, people felt like he was making moves based on impulse. And that decision changed everything. That situation eventually led to a 5-year sentence with no bond. Just like that, one of the biggest rising names on the new 1017 roster was suddenly gone before he could even drop a second album. And while all this was happening, fans started asking a question that's getting even louder now. Where was Gucci Mane in all of this? Here's what people need to understand before we get into the current drama. When Gucci rebranded the label as the new 1017 in 2020, it honestly looked like one of the biggest comeback stories in rap. The new roster was stacked. You had Big Scar, Fujiano, Hot Boy Wes, K Shade, Pusha Enchanting, Fujiano, Roboy, and more names attached to what looked like a serious movement. On paper, this squad looked dangerous in the best way possible. Gucci was supposed to be the veteran making smart moves, playing chess while everybody else was playing checkers, and building the next generation of Atlanta rap stars. That was the vision everyone bought into. But what happened over the next few years was genuinely heartbreaking. Not internet drama, not exaggerated headlines, real-life tragedy. Enchanting passed away in December 2024, and Big Scar passed away in December 2022. Both losses were widely reported as overdose-related incidents, and both shocked fans across the rap world. Two artists gone way too soon. Then more problems started piling up. Hot Boy Wes was sentenced to prison after facing multiple serious charges tied to separate cases. Matt Critter was arrested in connection with a murder case. Fujiano was also dealing with major legal issues after federal charges in 2022. Fujiano was already locked up too. One by one, the roster that looked unstoppable started falling apart from every direction imaginable. Some artists were lost forever. Others got caught up in legal battles, and the label's momentum completely collapsed. By the time Gucci reportedly reviewed where things stood in late 2024, there wasn't much left of what was once supposed to be rap's next dynasty. And then Gucci made a move that had everybody talking. He jumped on Instagram while sitting in his car and made an announcement that spoke volumes without fully explaining anything. Fans instantly knew something was off. On October 18th, 2024, Gucci revealed he was cutting ties with multiple artists from the label. Big Walk Dog, Bizzle, BCATO, 2x Lil Heath, Lil Zay, FTO Set, TLE Cinco. All of them were suddenly free from their deals. Just like that, the roster was wiped clean and people started wondering if 1017 was falling apart right in front of everybody's eyes. "This is a decision I didn't want to make," Gucci explained. "I could have kept all of them under contract, but I said forget it." Now let's really break that down because how he said it mattered just as much as what he said.
Fujiano, released from prison, served 4 years. The last artist left on the 1017. Everybody's either dead or in jail, literally, or released. He was one of the two artists that Gucci decided to keep, Shiesty and Fujiano, of course. He's been released. The internet's going crazy.
First, Gucci said he looked at the P statement. That tells you the numbers weren't making sense anymore. Translation, the artists weren't bringing in enough revenue to match what was being spent on them. And that's how the music business works. Labels front artists money for studio time, marketing, features, music videos, travel, promo runs, and full album rollouts. But that money isn't free. Artists usually have to earn all of that back through streams, sales, tours, and other revenue before they start seeing serious checks. If the numbers stay low, labels can start viewing that artist as a financial risk instead of a major investment. That's what made Gucci's statement hit so hard. A lot of fans believe he looked at the books, saw more losses than wins, and decided to make cuts fast. But here's the part a lot of people missed. Gucci also said he contacted the artists and their lawyers before making the announcement public. On paper, some people viewed that as professional and respectful. They felt he gave everyone a heads up before taking things public. But others looked at it completely differently. A lot of people felt if you truly saw these artists as family, if you were really moving like a mentor or a big homie, things should have been handled face-to-face first. People argued there should have been private conversations, real meetings, and actual plans about what came next instead of everyone finding out through social media headlines. And that Instagram announcement, that changed how a lot of fans viewed 1017 overnight. It made people feel like the label was always business first, not the family-style movement many fans believed it was. And some former artists weren't quiet about it either. Former 1017 artist Lil J reportedly went live and said this was exactly what he wanted. He claimed he had been speaking on this situation for days, and his comments only made the drama even louder. He was actually happy to get cut from the label. Think about how wild that sounds. This was supposed to be the platform that changed his life, and instead, he sounded relieved to be free from it. That alone told people a lot about what things may have felt like behind the scenes at 1017 from the artist's perspective. When somebody celebrates leaving a situation that was supposed to elevate them, fans start asking serious questions. But Gucci kept two names, Shiesty and Fujiano, and both of them were locked up at the time. That wasn't random. Those were two of the label's biggest names. Artists who had real momentum, moved serious numbers, and built loyal fan bases before their legal issues stopped everything. From a pure business angle, some people understood the move. Keep the artists with the strongest numbers and cut ties with the ones bringing in less revenue. On paper, that made sense. But this is where things start getting messy right now. It's April 2026, and Fujiano is finally home after 5 years. And what happened when he got out? Basically, nothing. A photo popped up online showing Fujiano smiling and flashing his iced-out grill with the caption, "No more free Fu." And that was the entire announcement. That was it. No Gucci post, no 1017 celebration, no Atlantic Records promo rollout, no big welcome home moment, and people noticed immediately. Let me put that into perspective because context matters. When artists come home after serving time, there's usually visible support. Sometimes it's family, friends, management, or their team showing up. There's often studio sessions lined up, meetings planned, or some kind of public excitement that shows people are ready for the comeback. Fans expected some kind of major moment here because Gucci publicly said Fujiano was one of the artists he was heavily invested in. Instead, all people saw was a quick Instagram story from a producer. That made social media go crazy. People instantly started questioning whether there was tension behind the scenes, whether the label relationship had changed, and whether Fujiano was planning his next move without 1017 involved. Then the comments got even messier. One person joked, his meeting fit a Zoom call. And that comment had people laughing. But it also showed how many fans believe something bigger is happening behind the scenes. Gucci doing no more meetings! That's not a good time to be signed to Gucci. That's the type of talk flooding the internet before the situation even had time to cool down. People noticed Gucci's absence immediately. And the streets noticed too. And that brings us to where things got even more serious. Reports started spreading after a well-known blog claimed Fujiano had spoken on the situation, and what was allegedly said caught a lot of people off guard. According to those reports, Fujiano allegedly made it clear that he does not plan on working with Gucci Mane moving forward. And the reason people keep repeating? He reportedly felt Gucci didn't financially support him while he was incarcerated. The claims being shared online say there were no money transfers, no commissary support, and no financial help during those 5 years behind bars. That claim hit hard because in both street culture and the rap industry, loyalty means a lot to people. Many believe that if someone helped build your label and is dealing with legal consequences while their career is on pause, support matters. Whether that means checking in, helping their family, or simply staying involved. That's why these allegations sparked so much conversation online. And according to what's being reported, Fujiano feels Gucci didn't meet those expectations. Now here's where people started connecting bigger dots. A lot of fans believe this may not be an isolated situation. They started looking at other former 1017 artists and noticing similar complaints about support and communication. Pushiesti's name quickly entered the conversation too because he was also part of that same era of 1017 artists dealing with legal issues while signed to the label. In April 2022, Pushiesti was sentenced to prison after federal firearm conspiracy charges connected to a separate case. That situation caused even more people online to ask whether Gucci was truly involved behind the scenes with his artists during their toughest moments, or if he was becoming more distant as the label changed. Pushiesti was released in October 2025 due to good behavior. And once again, people noticed something familiar right away. There was no major Gucci rollout, no huge 1017 celebration, no big public welcome home moment, and fans immediately started talking. Instead of jumping right back under the 1017 umbrella, reports claimed Pooh started moving differently and exploring other opportunities. Rumors started spreading that Yo Gotti and CMG had interest, and people began wondering if he wanted out of his current situation completely. Then January 10th, 2026 happened, and this is where things allegedly went from messy to headline news fast. Federal prosecutors accused Pushiesti and 8 other people of robbing 3-minute gunpoint and kidnapping them at a Dallas recording studio following what authorities described as a contract-related dispute tied to Gucci Mane's label. Let that sink in for a second. According to prosecutors, this wasn't described as a random robbery situation. Authorities said the 3 alleged victims flew to Dallas believing they were attending a legitimate business meeting at a recording studio. Prosecutors claim the meeting was allegedly arranged to discuss contract terms connected to 1017 records. That's where the allegations become extremely serious. According to court claims, prosecutors said contract termination paperwork was brought into the meeting and an argument allegedly broke out over signing documents. Authorities allege a weapon was displayed during the confrontation and that individuals were pressured to sign paperwork. Prosecutors also claim jewelry, cash, and other personal belongings were taken during the incident. Those allegations are incredibly serious, and if convicted, the people involved could face major prison time. And this is exactly why the story exploded online. Many people began asking what pushed things to this point in the first place. One attorney connected to the case reportedly told media outlets that while Pushiesti was incarcerated, his music allegedly generated around $25 million. That number instantly grabbed headlines. The bigger allegation being discussed online was whether Pooh felt he wasn't properly compensated while he was behind bars, and whether frustration over contract issues kept building over time. To be clear, these are allegations tied to an ongoing legal situation, and the courts determine the facts. But from a public perception standpoint, people started viewing this as another major sign that 1017's business relationships may have been breaking down behind the scenes in a very public way. Whether those numbers are completely accurate or not, that's still the allegation hanging over everything right now. The lawyers are saying it, blogs keep repeating it, and the streets definitely have opinions. And when people look at everything side by side, they keep pointing to what feels like a pattern. Fujiano came home from prison and reports quickly surfaced that he wanted out of his deal. Then things allegedly escalated into a major legal situation tied to contract disputes. Now Fujiano comes home, then almost immediately reports start spreading that he's no longer rocking with Gucci either. And why? According to what's being reported, Fujiano allegedly felt abandoned while he was locked up and claims no money was sent during that time. That's why so many people online are saying this doesn't feel random. To them, this feels bigger than one isolated disagreement. They believe it points to deeper issues inside the label culture. And let's be honest about where Gucci Mane stands right now, because some fans still defend every move like we're back in 2010. This isn't 2010 anymore. The entire rap business has changed, and Gucci's role in it has changed too. And let's be clear, Gucci Mane is still one of the most important figures in Atlanta rap history. That part is undeniable. He helped shape trap music, he helped introduce major names like Young Thug, Migos, Waka Flocka Flame, and many others to bigger audiences. His catalog is legendary, and that legacy is locked in forever. But the current 1017 situation, that's a completely different conversation. Ever since launching the new version of 1017 in 2020, the label has been hit with tragedy, legal problems, and non-stop setbacks. There have been heartbreaking losses, multiple prison sentences, and a roster that slowly got torn apart by circumstances that were sometimes outside anyone's control, while other issues made people question what things looked like behind the scenes. Then Gucci cut most of the roster down to just 2 artists, both of whom were incarcerated at the time. Then one of those artists became tied to a major legal case involving contract disputes, and now the other artist comes home to complete silence. That's why people are asking if 1017 is facing its biggest identity crisis yet. And now blogs are saying Fujiano is already creating distance from Gucci. So what's really left of 1017 right now? Technically, Fujiano could still be tied to the label if that contract is still active. But look at the bigger picture. Fujiano is dealing with serious federal charges that could carry massive consequences if convicted. Fujiano is reportedly not trying to work with Gucci moving forward, and that leaves 1017 looking like a label with almost no active momentum right now. As an artist development machine, a lot of people feel it's running on empty. And let's be real, Gucci probably sees that too. He has to. Earlier in 2024, Gucci even announced the launch of another label called So Icy Millionaires. He posted videos showing stacks of cash and said, "That's what I'm willing to invest in my next superstar." That told a lot of people everything they needed to know. Gucci appears to already be building his next chapter because many fans believe the version of 1017 they once knew is finished. Now the bigger question becomes, what happens to Fujiano? And this is where the story gets deeper than gossip. This is about strategy now. Fujiano is 32 years old. He spent 5 years behind bars. That's a huge chunk of time in music. He missed major streaming growth, he missed collaborations, he missed feature runs, he missed album cycles, he missed huge industry changes. He went in during one era and came home to a completely different music business. That adjustment alone is something most people underestimate. But here's why people still believe he has real leverage right now. And this part matters. Fans never forgot him. People spent years posting free Fu online. That support never fully disappeared. Even while he was locked up, his name kept circulating. His music still had replay value, and people stayed curious about what his comeback could look like. That kind of built-in fan loyalty is powerful, and it could completely change his next move if he plays this right. There's real demand out there for Fujiano's music right now, and that matters more than people realize. When artists disappear for a few years and come back at the right moment, the comeback can be huge if the rollout is handled correctly. We've seen fans rally behind artists returning home and jumping right back into music because the hunger was already there. That same energy could absolutely work in Fujiano's favor if he moves smart. And then there's his sound. The host in this transcript said it perfectly. Fujiano makes club records and street records. He creates the kind of music that can hit in clubs, cars, parties, and neighborhood playlists all at once. That lane never fully closes. That sound doesn't just disappear overnight. He may need to refresh his style a little, update his references, and reconnect with what's trending now. But the foundation is still there. And this next part is very important. If there really is tension between Fujiano and Gucci over contracts or money, the smartest move is through legal channels, not reckless decisions. That means bringing in an entertainment attorney. That means hiring accountants to review contracts and royalty statements. That means carefully examining every dollar tied to his music while he was incarcerated. Streams, features, licensing deals, compilation placements, publishing revenue, everything. If there were accounting mistakes, delayed payments, contract issues, or disagreements over royalties, legal professionals can help sort that out properly. And to be clear, like contract disputes happen across the music industry all the time. Issues involving royalties, release schedules, recording budgets, and contract obligations are common disputes between artists and labels. If there are legitimate concerns, there are legal ways to address them. And that's exactly why people are saying Fujiano needs to move carefully right now. The worst possible move would be making emotional decisions that create bigger legal problems. That path can destroy careers fast. Right now, Fujiano has public support, fan curiosity, and a real opportunity for a comeback story. If he plays this smart, this could be the beginning of something major instead of another chapter of chaos. The second things turn violent, you lose control of the whole story. What could have been handled through lawyers, contracts, and public pressure suddenly becomes a criminal case, and that changes everything fast. Then the conversation shifts away from business issues and straight into courtrooms, headlines, and legal consequences. That's why playing the long game matters. Use the blogs, use interviews, use public support, let people ask their own questions. And honestly, the story is already speaking for itself. People saw the lack of a major rollout when Fujiano came home. People are talking about the claims that no financial support was sent while he was incarcerated. And people are comparing how highly Gucci publicly praised Fujiano in the past versus how things seem to be unfolding now. That contrast alone has people talking nonstop. Sometimes you don't need long speeches or messy online arguments. Just let the facts sit there and let your music remind people why they cared in the first place. And if you zoom out, this story is way bigger than just Gucci and Fujiano. This is really about what happens when street culture collides with corporate music business systems, and nobody fully explains the rules before contracts get signed. That combination has created problems in hip-hop for decades, and 1017 is honestly one of the most interesting examples in rap business history. From the original era all the way back in 2007, Gucci helped launch major names like Waka Flocka Flame, OJ Don, and producer Shawty Red while helping Atlanta become a global trap music powerhouse. That impact is undeniable. His influence on rap history is locked in forever. But behind the music success, people have long debated how business relationships played out behind the scenes. A lot of artists came up under Gucci, got major attention, then eventually had complicated exits, while others struggled to fully break free from certain situations. And that conversation didn't just begin with the new 1017 era. People have been debating these issues for years. But what happened from 2020 through 2026 feels like a concentrated version of everything that can go wrong when a label isn't fully prepared to support artists through legal issues, personal struggles, career setbacks, and major life changes. That's why this story keeps hitting so hard, because for many fans, it feels like they're watching years of unresolved issues explode in public all at once. Pooh, Shiesti, and Fujiano have both faced major legal situations that paused their careers. Hot Boy Wes was sentenced to 15 years in prison. Matt Critter was arrested in a first-degree murder case. And both Enchanting and Big Scar tragically passed away within just a few years. When people look at that timeline, they see a roster that was hit by non-stop tragedy, legal trouble, and careers getting derailed one after another. Some artists were lost forever, some ended up in prison, others were released from the label. And that has led a lot of fans to ask difficult questions about what kind of support system was really in place behind the scenes. What did the environment look like when artists were dealing with serious personal struggles? Who was helping guide them when things started falling apart? Those are the questions people keep asking. Now you have Fujiano coming home after 5 years and reports claiming there was little visible support waiting for him. And then there are the separate legal allegations involving Pooh, Shiesti, and contract disputes that have created even more headlines. When artists feel stuck in bad business situations, emotions can run high. And that's why having proper legal guidance matters so much. And if you're a young artist watching all of this happen right now, there's a huge lesson here. Read every contract carefully, understand every clause. Hire an attorney who works for you, not someone connected to the label. Get management that actually understands the music business and can protect your interests. Learn what recoupment means. Learn how royalties work. Understand what happens to your catalog if your career gets interrupted. Because labels can continue generating money from music that's already released. And if your paperwork isn't solid, you could come home years later and realize you don't fully understand where your money went. That's why this story has become such a major warning sign for new artists trying to break into the industry. Imagine coming home and realizing your music kept making money while you were locked up, but your own situation didn't improve at all. That's bigger than just Fujiano. That's bigger than just Pushiesti. That's a story a lot of artists have quietly dealt with for years but never had the platform to speak on publicly. And that's why this situation is hitting people so hard right now. As of April 2026, Fujiano is officially home. And interestingly enough, he hasn't said much publicly at all. No big interview, no emotional Instagram live, no long statement. He's been moving quietly, and honestly, that might be the smartest move possible right now. Let the rumors spread. Let the blogs talk. Let the internet debate everything. His name is dominating headlines right now without him even saying a word. That kind of attention is powerful if you know how to use it correctly. Meanwhile, the 1017 situation has only gotten more complicated since Gucci announced major roster cuts back in October 2024. Then things escalated even further earlier in April 2026 when Pushiesti was arrested in connection to an alleged armed robbery at a recording studio. Authorities claim he and others attempted to force Gucci Mane to sign contract release paperwork during that situation. Those allegations instantly exploded online and created even more chaos around the label. Then Gucci added even more fuel to the conversation when he released a track called Crash Dummy. A lot of listeners believe the song was aimed directly at the allegations and the people involved. In the track, Gucci raps about someone who went out like a real crash dummy and mentions that the person was still signed to me. Those lyrics immediately sparked reactions all over social media. Some people supported Gucci speaking his side. Others felt the song made the situation look even messier. Even Uncle Murda reportedly weighed in on his podcast and said, "You can't sound like a civilian after being a gangster for 20-something years." That comment hit hard because it touched on the bigger identity issue at the center of this whole story. Gucci built much of his image around street credibility, survival, and authenticity. Now he's connected to a federal case involving one of his own artists and contract disputes. That creates a complicated conversation that a lot of people don't know how to process cleanly. And then people started noticing another major detail: the timing of Fujiano's release. Right as all this chaos was dominating headlines, Fujiano quietly walked back into the spotlight. And that timing could completely shift what happens next. And just this month, Pushi was arrested in connection to the alleged kidnapping and robbery case involving Gucci Mane. So think about the timing Fujiano is walking into right now. He comes home to a world where one of his label mates is facing extremely serious legal trouble. His label boss just dropped a diss track that many people believe was tied to betrayal. And the entire 1017 structure people once knew has been stripped down over the past year. That's not exactly a smooth comeback environment. That's a minefield. And now the biggest question in the music world is simple. What does Fujiano sound like in 2026? He left during a very promising run. He had momentum, he had a major cosign from one of Atlanta rap's most influential figures, and he still has a fan base that clearly never forgot about him. That matters a lot, but the bigger question may be who he chooses to align with next. Does he stay connected to 1017? Is there a legal path to exit that deal if he wants out? Is another label quietly waiting to make a move? And people are absolutely wondering if labels like CMG are paying attention the same way rumors once suggested they were watching other situations. Those questions could shape everything that happens next, because this next chapter could either revive his career or make things even more complicated. And if we're being honest, that's why this story feels so massive right now. Gucci Mane built something real. That part can't be erased. He helped reshape Atlanta rap. He influenced the sound of modern trap music in a major way. That legacy is permanent, no debate there. But 1017 in its current form feels less like a success story and more like a warning sign. A warning about trust, a warning about business, a warning about what can happen when artists give labels some of their best years, disappear due to legal issues or personal struggles, and come home feeling like everything changed without them. And that's why everybody is watching Fujiano's next move so closely right now. Fujiano came home after 5 years and got almost nothing. No major rollout, no big welcome home celebration, no public support from the label, no huge announcement, just a producer's Instagram story and blog rumors flying everywhere. That's what has people looking at the new 1017 completely different right now. And now reports are saying Fujiano may be done with the label altogether. And honestly, a lot of people are asking the same question. Can you really blame him? In both street culture and the music business, loyalty matters. Nobody is saying someone has to throw a giant party or spend millions, but people do expect support. People expect communication. People expect you to show up when someone helped build your brand and then hits hard times. And based on what's being reported online, many fans believe Gucci didn't fully show up for Fujiano. And some people are saying they saw similar complaints in other situations too. Now look where things stand today. Fujiano is only 32 years old. He has a second chance. He still has a hungry fan base waiting on new music. And he has leverage that a lot of artists would love to have right now. That means his next move could be one of the biggest comeback stories in rap this year, or another messy chapter in an already chaotic situation. Does he stay with 1017 and try to rebuild things? Does he bring in lawyers and auditors and fight for a clean legal exit? Or does he forget the industry politics completely and go independent while letting the fans decide his future? That's the million-dollar question right now, and trust me, this story is far from over. Drop your thoughts in the comments. If you were Fujiano, what would your next move be? And if you want the full Fujiano breakdown next, let me know, because that story is an entire episode by itself. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, share this with somebody who follows rap news, and comment your take below. This story is only getting crazier from here, and you do not want to miss what happens next.